How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And today we're going to be talking about SOFI, which gave us a green day, being up just over 4.5% on the day while the market was falling off a cliff as well. We also been getting some changes in price targets. We'll talk about it further in this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder, you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know what it looks like in a bearish case scenario and as well as in the bullish case scenario. And then we're going to be going on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information. The reason why this is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know the buying and the selling behavior on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for SOFI. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $5.49, being up 4.57%. On the low, it tested $4.95, and then on the high, testing $5.61. When we take a look at our volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 76.337 million shares, and the average volume over 10 trading days is at 56.259 million shares. So we had above average volume on the day, and we saw strength in the stock, which was really good considering we had a red day inside of the market. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is the daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is at 33.65. And then when we take a look at our moving averages here on the chart, we are below the 200-day, the 100-day, the 50-day, and as well as the 21-day EMA. And it's clear to see that SOFI is in a bear market trading below all of our major moving averages. But one thing we want to pay attention to, so we ended up testing $4.95 on the day, so we want to continue to hold support at this level. We ended up seeing a high of 561. So going into tomorrow, if we see a bounce inside of the market, since it did sell off quite a bit, I want to see SOFI going back to around $6. And if we could reclaim $6, I'd want to see a move going to the 21-day EMA at 671. I know this is a lot to ask, but if we can close the week above 671, I think that would be a good look. Now, as far as if we have some consolidation, I just want us being able to hold up $5 support. If we end up breaking through that level, our 52-week low is at $4.82. So if we break through $4.82, then we want to see if we can have support kicking in around $4.50 or around $4.33. But again, all depends on the market conditions. But overall for today, SOFI, very proud of its performance. Now let's move on to the short interest information. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for SOFI. As we scroll down on the page, green rows indicate new positions, while red rows indicate closed positions. So when we take a look at the recent filings for the 11th, we see we have some closed positions here, but when we take a look at some new ones, we have Clear Street LLC that purchased 100 shares, and we also have Haran Securities Inc. Well, this is actually for the 10th, which was 100 shares as well. And then we have Van Eck Associates Corp that purchased 295,126 shares. So that is definitely good to see. And now when we take a look at the short interest, the off-exchange short volume ratio is at 50.33%. And then for the off-exchange short volume, it is just over 31.274 million shares. Scrolling down on the page, the short shares availability is at 500,000, updated just now. And then for the short borrow fee rate, it is at 3.70%. When we take a look at the history of the short volume, we can see for the close of the 9th, it was at 56.45. And then for the close of the 10th, being at 50.33. And then when we take a look at the short interest percentage of the float being at 19.87%, SOFI does have short squeeze potential. Now let's move on to the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for SOFI. So we see here on the inflow, it was at 75.99 million, and then on the outflow, it's at 65.09 million. When we take a look at the breakdown on the large, it was 3.17 million. On the medium, it was 49 million, and then on the small, it was 23.8 million. Taking a look at the outflow side, on the large, it was 2.16 million. On the medium, it was 41.21 million. And then on the small, it was 21.72 million. So overall, we end up having an inflow day. And then taking a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you can see for today, May the 11th, we had that inflow of 1.01 million. Analyzing the numbers even further for the small scale orders that tends to represent the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at what happened on the medium, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the large, which represents whales, institutions, and funds, we had more buying than we had selling. And then when we take a look at the turnover ratio, it was at 8.35%. We know that SOFI is a volatile stock. Yes, that is up there, but considering how volatile the markets were, it did hold itself up fairly well. So now let's move on to the final thoughts, and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for SOFI, before we start talking about the price action, let's go over the changes in price targets that we had today, because it was quite a bit. So the first one that we're going to be going over is Credit Suisse. So they ended up giving SOFI a price target of $9.50 from their price target of $15.50. So they did end up reducing it, but at the same time still shows some upside. And then when we take a look at Morgan Stanley, as far as for the price target, they gave SOFI 7, and this is from their previous price target of $10. And then for Goldman Sachs, they lowered their price target to $9 from when they had previously was $10. And then we have Oppenheimer that gave SOFI a price target of $9 from their previous $13 as well. So with all of these price targets, it does show us that SOFI has some upside. So what I want to let you guys know, when it comes to these price targets, please do not just rely on them. But it does give us a ballpark figure of where the stock could be 1 year from now. That's why they put them out. But I myself personally, when the market begins to start picking up and we start seeing some strength, as far as for the long term I'm talking about here, I think SOFI has a lot of potential. And seeing how well it performed while the market was falling off a cliff, and we also did see a lot of interest on the order flow as well, I'm definitely looking forward to seeing how SOFI could perform, especially as we get closer to the end of the year. And as far as for all of my investors out there, I know you're excited as well. They ended up putting out a solid earnings report, and now we see how the demand in the market has increased. So let's talk about the price action. I know many of you look forward to that. So what I want to see from SOFI, I want us to hold up $5 by the end of the week. I feel that is not too much to ask whatsoever. And if it does decide to break through $5, I want to see us having that support holding up at 482. And if we break through 482, that's where we can start visiting at the 460s. Again, for my investors, I know you're going to be giving these particular areas a lot of consideration. So again, do your homework, make sure that this play is right for you. As far as for the upside now, we need some price action to confirm a reversal at the 21-day EMA, which is at $6.71. And that's asking for a fairly big move considering how volatile the markets are. If we can close the week at $6, I'd feel that would be very impressive, and it does set SOFI up pretty well going into next week. Also, when we went on Fintel, taking a look at the short interest information, it does continue to have short squeeze potential. And then taking a look at the recent institutional ownership, we can see that institutions are continuing to load up on shares as well. But one thing that I want to be clear about, we had the CPI numbers that ended up coming out. It was at 8.3%. On the previous report, we had around 8.5%. So what do I see? It looks like inflation has peaked since we did come in with a lower report from the previous month. But one of the things that are concerning, and is part of the reasons why we saw a lot more fear in the markets, we still came in above estimates, which had it at around 8%. So as far as for the CPI numbers for next month, there's going to be many eyes on that. But as far as where the market could potentially go, hey, we can continue to sell off, or we can end up having a bounce, knowing that, you know what, there probably is that probability we have peaked out. I myself, in my personal opinion here, I don't mind if we had more downside in the market, because it does give an opportunity for investors to load up on great stocks. And that's why I say it's very important that you have high conviction. And if you are a trader, the kind of market that we are in, you can see puts are doing very well. And if you are going to be going in with calls, you only really want to do this unless you see strength in the market. You want to follow the trend. The last thing that you want to do is try to predict the bottom and then the trade ends up going red on you. If you need help with with your trades and so forth. We continue to crush it in the bear market inside of the Discord. You can find that link down in the description. Hey, I might even drop it down in the comments, and we'll be happy to have you in there. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and I can't wait to see how SOFI performs going into tomorrow. We'll talk soon.